Hi. I'm just setting my alarm because I did a live the other day for 2.5 hours and people really wanted to see it. Some that didn't get the whole thing, explaining this whole spiritual journey, awakening journey. But they've changed things on YouTube. They're only now, as a normal user, they only allow you 1 gigabyte or 1 hour to upload. So they will not upload the last two videos I've got. I cannot get them uploaded. Anyway, this one, I'm finding a way. I'm trying to find software to break them in half and I'll upload them. So for this video, I want to time it. And then I can always just end it and go live again. But I need to split them. I can't have one long video. So let's see what comes through. But I'm going to set the timer. So if needed, I'll cancel the live and just go live again and I'll carry on round 2. But I just need to do this, because of the YouTube thing. Those that can't get the live, can't watch the replays because YouTube is not, let's not even go there with this whole technical thing. So I just want to set this, give me a minute to make sure. Let's say we'll give it, where are we now? Okay, so I'm going to set it at 1850. If necessary, I'll just end the live and just start another one straight away. So it doesn't matter. It's just for the fact of the problem with this YouTube now story. They've changed things. Anyway, so let me get into it. Hi, everybody. Hello. Let me share. There's a lot been wanting to share, a lot of pointers just to push the awareness up to the next level, really. So yes, anyway. Right, this is about the Maya. There's guidance here to show many pointers for you to realize that this is not your body. There's absolute guidance coming through here. And when you start asking these questions and looking, wow, you'll be like blown away. You'll realize you'll never control the body. You're doing nothing to do with the body. Its actions, its movements are absolutely not you. And that's another video. So all these will start coming through. But this one on thoughts, it's very, very interesting to watch, actually. As most will know, there's only one, that's source. So also while you're looking at this, understand there's nothing coming from this. This is a body. All right. Nothingness is talking. Nothingness is sharing. Nothingness is playing. There's only nothingness here. There's only one here. There's not a person. The knowledge and the information is not coming from a person. Okay, it's coming from oneness. It's coming from source itself. Because the body it has none of it. All right, the thoughts as well. So this is just coming through. This is what the one wants to share, right? There we are. This is just, so it's just using this form to share. So let's get that clear. All right, it's not, this one is anything. It's just a projection here. All right, so thoughts. To get things clear, so there's a lot of people. You say people. Thoughts, other ones out there dreaming. In the dream, there's many thoughts. Many are worrying about the timelines. They are aware that there are different timelines. Quite honestly, to see that they're going to diverge and split. There's awareness. Because this is what, obviously the one is changing the whole story. So this is what it's doing and its characters. It's clear. The whole thing is changing, the Great Awakening, that it's shifting, right? So it will shift off into different stories. Otherwise, it would be probably boring. But what is clear and evident to see, what came through a year or so ago, was an awareness that all thoughts have frequencies and different vibrations. That's obvious, and you actually can feel the different frequencies and vibrations. So this came through yesterday and was practiced. I practiced it with affirmations on here, and I uploaded them to the YouTube channel. This is the thing. I opened YouTube so I can upload the lives for people, you see, to watch, to get the guidance and assistance. But unfortunately, they've changed everything now, so that's, it's difficult. And you can't just restrict lives because people want to have questions to times, and I don't want to, it just comes, what comes, comes. So it was made very clear, and it was evident, and we practiced. You could see, like, joy is a higher frequency than happiness. Feel it when you say the words and the energy. You can feel the energy shift, so you can feel there's a difference. So what this is what most people think. The brain is just part of the physical body. The brain is not doing anything. It's not thinking anything. It is the receiver, purely. The physical body, so-called, the actual body there that you see here, is only a receiver. That's it. That's what it's meant to do. Okay, it receives, so as clear as it is, as much as this physical thing is functioning, so the better a state the physical body, whatever this is, the more it's going to receive. It's a receiver. That's its only job, is to perceive this illusion, right? So now you'll also become clear. The thoughts are not, this is awakening up, and this is probably what's sharing. This will help a lot of people. When you realize the thoughts are not yours, these things you see in your head, the images and the talk and what you think you are thinking. You see, this is an illusion. This is where the separation is coming from. It's my thoughts, I'm thinking better, but no, absolutely not. The thoughts belong to nobody. They belong to the one. They appear in the one, it's source. So there's a field, infinite field of thoughts. Just thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. Depending on the focus here, you see, so what the pattern, habits of this, that's why you can see Joe Dispenza's doing work to retrain it. So if there was anything set and physical and real, you wouldn't be able to change the story, even the physical. You wouldn't be able to shift everything. As Joe Dispenza is showing, you can change the thoughts, affirmations, and the whole story, perception, physics changes, right? So nothing is set here. This is becoming clear. This is why the story can change into many stories. So the thoughts are fields. You choose them. That's it. So the character that's playing the separate character is selecting the thoughts. Literally. There we are. From the field and creating a story. That's it. It's creating a story. But now by the type of thoughts and the different frequencies, you'll see they're all banding. So you're seeing all these stories. It's fascinating to watch. What you call different timelines and different experiences. So if you look at all the thoughts, right, especially when they're very focused on the body, on the me. So it starts off, first of all, there's an I thought. There's a me. This is the illusion. This is how it creates a separation. What you call the shadow. If you stand, the whole Maya is created by light, right? Now, how is it? This is what's causing the reflection. What's causing the shadow is a belief in the I, in an ego, in a separate one having a separate life. It's like when you walk, the sun casts, right? When there's no shadow, what they talk about, like Buddha's gurus, there's complete clarity, there's complete transparency. This becomes absolutely clear. There's no more projection or reflection. Why? The reflection is caused, a projection of what you see in the mirror. The image of you is created by a reflection, a belief in a separate I, me, person, being. That's our thought. It's purely our thought. It's a belief that is a separate me and I live and I've got to live my life, me. That is what causes that poof, and what causes a reflection. So of the source, which is pure light, pure nothingness, this is what causes, boom, it's a reflection, this illusion. This is what causes a Maya, the world out there, people. Now when you listen to a guru and things, they see none of that. They say there's nothing. Because they're back with that. They're not identified with a separate one. So there's no form, it all falls away. It just vanishes and you become back with source and there's just nothingness. There's only one. And this is what it keeps telling you. Everyone says, I'm source. And Shah, many are saying the source, I'm source, everyone's source. Yes, that's all that exists is the one. But in order to create a Maya, it creates an I thought, identifies, there we are, and it's a belief, a very strong identity. It's all energetic. Picks that thought, I'm that, and then what happens, this is why the illusion is created by light. This is what, it's actually making a reflection. That's the best way I can say. So, now this appears and it's reflecting the light. So it's got a reflection. Oh, look, there's a me, like in the mirror. Exactly. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? A reflection. This is what it's done. It's imagined and created a fake thing, believing it's a fake thing, and there we are, poof, a picture and appears of a body and a face, and that's how the Maya works. That is the Maya to a simple explanation, right? But while you are playing the Maya, everybody now in the Maya wants to know how to get, their focus is how to get out, because they don't escape the me, or I've just explained that. It's only a belief and a thought. What they call non-duality, Christ consciousness, that all falls away. And then the play, which they perceived, is wonderful because there's nothing happening and it's just life. It's just beautiful and it's just going on and you're just watching the story. The one then enjoys the story because the one is watching it. It doesn't feel worried about what happens in the story. It doesn't mind. There's many stories what happens because it's not in the story. It knows it's an illusion. It's nothing physical. There's no bodies. No one's going to get hurt. You see, it's just like thoughts. It's like when you're reading a story, that's all that he said. But when you identified with the thought, which is me, my life, the focus you'll notice, this is about, I'm going to give you, who knows is coming. The focus, what you'll notice, is all the thoughts are about you. What I can get, my life, I wanted this, plan this, manifest this, It's all about creating and manifesting. When there's a me here, this me, everything revolves around it. Pay attention to the thoughts. It's amazing when you start doing it. So what's going to help you now distance and not be bothered by them is when you understand they are not your thoughts at all. They belong to no one. But what you are receiving, it depends on the frequency, patterns, and focus. So what your mind, all the beliefs and stories you have taken in. Like I said just now, I made a short video. The best way to explain it is like Alexa. Okay? You just think of a question, and the question pops up, and you ask Alexa, poof, and the answer comes. But if you open up Alexa, open up that, you will see there's no one in there. There's no Alexa. Open up there, there's no Alexa. So, it's a wire, right? So it's coming through Wi-Fi. So then you go through, well, where's Wi-Fi? Do you see Wi-Fi or wire? You open up the wire, it's also nothing. It's electricity. This is consciousness and energy. So the thoughts and everything, even if you do inquiry, you'll see. Ask and look for that thought. Where does it come from? Every time you ask and do self-inquiry, who's the I? Where's the I? Where's the I thought come from? There's this ask. And what you will see is nothing. Always. You go back to nothing. There's nobody. So the I thought is coming out of nothing. Nothingness, as they tell you. No one, nothing. You just get to nothing. Nothing, emptiness. That's all you'll find. That's all that is actually emptiness, which the gurus have been telling you. And you won't see emptiness as long as you keep identifying with the I thought. So basically, the character, its patterns, and that's how Joe Dispenza is proving you can change their life. Yeah, you can change this, the body and the experience, okay, that this form is having, by changing the thoughts, by picking different thoughts and changing, releasing the ones you don't like, and I don't like that, don't want this. As Joe, just go listen to Joe Dispenza, that's simple, right? So we know a selection of thoughts, but on a deeper level, if you watch it, how it's happening, now you're becoming aware as this is changing, it's changing. You're aware now because you've risen in frequency, so you've woken up to there's not one story. Oh, there's not just one story, planet Earth story and this and that. When you wake up, which you believe are other realms and dimensions and astral, right? Because everything's an illusion. So is this. It's just you're not seeing it because you're in this realm. This realm is a imaginary realm, like your dream, no more physical and real than any other one you see in the astral, than any other astral story being, right? They're all illusionary stories happening in the one, which you're waking up to. So this is how now you'll see the different stories and timelines forming. And depending on the patterns, so let's say all alcoholics, as I said, go and follow Paul Hedderman. He'll give you some great clues to the ultimate, or they want to call oneness, Christ consciousness. He was a drug addict, serious drug addict, who had a very negative story and pattern running here. So of course, there we are, prison, drug addict, he was in drugs, prison, whatever. Same thing. Why? Because the thoughts that was the running here were really bad. And negative stories, negative thoughts, negative perceptions. So what came out of it? Negative behavior. It was very, very much me, the program. So depending on the thoughts, the programs, and the belief and the thing, that's where the action comes, right? So there's a different experience. That's why I say it's fascinating. It isn't one. This is why some people say they think it's like a computer simulation or AI, because it's impersonal, because it really is. There isn't any actual person or being or any real separate person or anything here. They are just thoughts, and these apparitions, energy things, are just creating stories by being drawn to these frequencies. And then these frequencies, more thoughts gather together. Watch what you think, watch what you think. A thought arises and you give it attention. You claim that thought as yours, or you pay it attention, right? Whoops, what happens? A minute you pay attention to that, say, negative thought or any thought, the next one comes and they'll be in the similar vein, and then woo. So that's all it is. If you give attention to any thought, whatever frequency it is, you start your affirmations on positive, guess what? You'll see more and more and more positive ones come, and your frequency and vibration rises and you feel wonderful. The opposite is happening to those on a very low frequency, the negative frequencies, fears, if it's criminals, if it's alcoholics. As he said, when he went to AA, you see, because this is me, I'm special, I'm an individual, you believe in the separate entity and you're a body. And then you go to a drug addict meeting and they're all, as I say, going on. And all the same, and he said, listen to the stories. Same shit, same life, same experiences, same stories. So he had two conclusions. It's not my story. They're not my thoughts. You see, it is very interesting, because then how come all these people are thinking my thoughts? So the same is, be aware. Look at is a good example, Starseed Light Worker Movement. There's different stories happening. There's not just one. So look at this. Look at the ones that call themselves light workers. What guidance and information is coming through there? See, when they're tapping in, they're all getting the same, creating this new earth, manifesting the golden age, golden this, they're all saying, guess what? See, you're on this frequency, so all that is now you are, by focusing on these stories of what's coming through, is all the same. So they're all saying the same thing. Watch, the same guidance, just go and see. Siri, it's what I'm saying. This is Siri, it's obvious. There's no one here. There's no nefarious thing controlling a computer. It's just the one. It's dream. It's a non-physical thing. So of course, as a non-physical being or nothingness, how are you going to create anything? There's only thoughts. There's only energy and frequencies. So that's how the Maya works. It's purely only energy and frequency. You are just seeing pictures because you are identified. You've created a shadow by believing there's a separate I, me, this thing. As the gurus tell you, when they've stopped doing it, it goes woof, and there's just no one there anymore. So this is why there's a reflection, and also everything that's in there is being reflected back to you. So you see a world, you're seeing all these things, that's it. When the body falls away, that doesn't, So what's happening here, different timelines. For those, watch the light worker movement. And watch this, actually you'll see, if you pay attention, you'll realize there's quite a few stories splitting off here. Some are quite similar, so they will overlap in some areas, the experiences. So yes, I could definitely see, as you said, infinite possibilities, infinite stories will appear later on. At the moment, there's a lot of still overlapping frequencies and vibrations going on here, because there's a lot clearing from the collective at the moment. There's a lot of patterns clearing from the collective, from the body actually. Because whatever, as I say, this is only as good as the program, as he discovered. So if the program running here is like Alexa, right? Alexa can only give you the answers. That's it. This Amazon Alexa thing, which is the universe. It depends on what's programmed in it. What's in Alexa. It's only as good as the program. This is the same here. Whatever you have taken in as your beliefs, your definitions, your stories, from your parents, from school, from the media, from the news, from whatever nonsense, whatever you took on as a truth, as a story identified with a person, a character, this is what's been cleared from the vessel now. It's shaking out all of that nonsense, because it doesn't belong to the infinite. None of it does. It has no story. You see, that it doesn't mind, it likes the stories, it has no problem with the stories, it watches the stories. So you can create it while you're here. This will carry on, it's in the story, right? The universe is a manifestation machine. Source is nothingness. So as nothingness, it's infinite, there's only the infinite now, it creates. This is why you see that it's reflected here, manifesting, you are manifesting. As Joe Defense is proving, you can change the biology, the body, everything. Depending on the belief and the story running here, everything changes. So this is not a set reality, a set story. It's an illusionary realm. All of this is an illusionary dream happening within the one, right? So you have to change the words and stories. This is what's happening here. So as you guide it, depending on the stories you are navigating to, the form is, everything's being shaken out of the vessel. So everything, this is what they call purging, clearing thing, is being released from this body. All the programs that took in, people are bad, this is that, it's hard to make money, money grows on trees, it depends how old you are. We heard a lot of these things, a lot of negative stories, right? So this is what's formed all these different timelines now, you see. And this is why Bashar tells you as well, there's an infinite amount of possibilities, absolutely, and they're going to separate. Because it's clear to see. Watch the stories. Just if you observe, some you're not going to come across. You have to look for it. Because you are such a different frequency and you just have no resonance with them. You're not interested. You don't even come across the stuff anymore because it is so drifted far apart from you. Soon, as I say, you won't even it'll just disappear. So the timelines, some are really very, very far apart, but some are overlapping. So there's the starseed movement. There's also a movement as a negative perception. There's always positive, because this is an illusion, right? So there's one that all these negative things are going to control us and controlling the planet. That's one timeline and story. When they believe there's others controlling them and controlling the planet and blah, blah, blah. So there we are. There's a timeline going off on its own. So there's a Lightworker movement that have that belief and they're creating that story, right? There's some that are creating just absolute harmony, peace is going to be with all these, there's no negative, with these galactics and whatever else and people and who knows. And there's some creating a sort of second Atlantis, golden age story. There's a group. So there's actually some. Now some overlap. So some are going to be bits. You can see where there's overlaps and you can see where there's none. There are some very much identified with the body mind, with the narrative here, with the story, and with all what's ever gone in, you'll see, which are, here we are, military, NATO, because that's all they know. See, the program runs here, threat. So, there's war, there's this, there's that. So there are some that are just, you don't even listen to it anymore. There are some that are, convinced there's going to be another war, Third World War's coming, and this and that's going to happen, and you don't even pay attention to it whatsoever. Absolutely none. So it depends on, the frequency and the work, the awareness. This is where the sharing is coming from, so that you can raise awareness. Thoughts and stories, timelines are easy to select. Even the thought that, oh my gosh, I might not be on that timeline. What if I'm on the wrong one? That's a thought. Release it. You don't have to choose it, because then you are saying, you see, you're going to create that. Whatever you define, because you are the infinite one, in drag. So you define and you believe, as you notice, is what's being created in the Maya. It doesn't change that you are still no one and no thing. That's the difference. You are nothing. But the experience that the form is going to have, as you notice, is because the story, it's changed its whole story, right? So the Earth story is shifting. So as you will see now what's happening in the Earth story, people can change their belief and their story and what their little manifestation here. And you'll see, as Joe Dispenza says, the illness is dropping away, their whole story, their life changes. Because the story and the thoughts that they were listening to and taking on changes. So that's now scientific and provable. So yes, we can see, because it's reflecting what the one is. Source, infinite one, is only source. And if you ask, you will find out, which this one did many. When this one heard the rumors going around about, there's a soul trap, and in a lot of dark, dense energy and not awareness, you were like, so ask. So I asked directly, and what I was shown directly to give an understanding to one that believed it was separate, because, very much had no clue that, this is, who knows. So you had really much identified with the form, right, and everything here, that this was a separate character here, So I asked, about that story. And what was shown was just how the one communicates. It's visual. It's pictures. It's a story. It's thoughts. So it's going to show you visions in the mind so you can understand. However, whichever belief system and whatever you do, so you can understand it. So what was shown here, because you can't show nothingness, because then you're confused. Like when you look for the thought, you'll see there's just emptiness. It's nothing. No light, dark. It's just nothingness. There's just a void. There's a void. So in order to show me, it showed me, yes, the void, but as a cloud, right? So what you saw was like a transparent cloud. It was a transparent cloud, and nothing existed but it. Nothing. We're not talking about objects. No objects. Nothing. Absolutely zero. No objects, no thing, no company. There was just nothingness, but it was aware. So if you're all alone, there's only you in existence, what are you going to do? Start imagining. So this is what it is. What you are in now, this, what you are perceiving, is the imagination, is its dream, its imagination. But you are not realizing you are not in it, you are watching it. You see, you are actually watching it. The form is in the... It's an infinite manifestation machine, source, that's all it is. It uses these to create. So if you pop up a separate identity, guess what? A separate identity believes it's a separate thing, and it starts thinking and manifesting. I want this, I want that, and imagining all these things. This is how it's creating all these different stories, right? It's imagining all these different things and creating all these different stories. That's what it's doing. Source is just a manifestation machine. And it's manifesting through these. Oh, look at this. I'm playing a lady. I'm playing a man. Bada, bada, bada. And of course, when you believe you are a separate thing, you are going to start planning and imagining this and a cars. And I mean, you're creating all kinds of stuff. So as they say, you can manifest and create whatever you want. So you can, if you can stay in this illusionary realm till the cows come home, millions and hundreds of you have, hundreds of thousands of years, you've been playing different characters, you thought. Because you're so identified with the body. We are so identified with the characters, we kept, what you say, reincarnating, right? Here's an example. I'll give you now. So definitely don't worry about the thoughts. Understand, because then you'll see it'll loosen. When you realize they are not yours, it's like, you're not going to give them fear or power. What you give fear or power to, you see, what you think, oh my gosh, they're a problem, they're this, they're too strong, they're negative, don't need those, and you try and control it or push it away, you fear it. You will lose fear. You won't have to worry, you won't try and control them and push them away and panic and not this and that of the thoughts, because you'll realize they are not yours, so they cannot do anything to you. They're not yours. Just don't choose the ones. And this is what's happening. It's releasing all of these distortions from the body at the moment, purging and clearing, but anyway, yeah. It's cleaning out this. Why? So it doesn't keep creating a negative pattern, because if you look at the story that's happened here in the story of humanity, it was a negative one. It was always negative framed, negative this, negative that. Oh, they always saw the worst, expected the worst. And this is why it was so in the mind. It was just, so it's clearing out all the rubbish, all the negativity and all the patterns and distortions, and it's clearing out. This is what they say the Great Awakening is. You're rising up to realize, oh my gosh, slowly, slowly. So no, the thoughts are not yours. So to get back to the point here, which was also, so much was shown here, but it wasn't understood at the time, because it never had any, this one had never had any kind of teaching or guidance on the esoteric or yogis or Buddhas, any of that background, not a clue. Absolutely clueless. So you weren't sure what was happening and what you was, nothing, not a faintest idea. It was a learning on the way, right? So this one had when you realize this is all part of the story, even reincarnation and near death and other things are all part of the Maya. Everything. Dying, reincarnating, every realm, every story, all your ETs, different planets, this all is illusionary. Because the only real existence is nothingness, is itself, right? So when you are experiencing anything, there's an experience, this is the Maya. This is part of the Maya. It's all part of the Maya. So this one died. Oh, it's a story, remember? The body died here. Anyway, for quite a bit. It was funny. In the story, so it created this experience, and it was still didn't even see that this body died, and it watched, the neighbors come and the ambulance take the body away, and the police, get in and talk to the neighbor and get whatever else, and then it watched the children put the ashes, where the character had asked the children to put the ashes, so it watched the children come and take the body away and all that sort of stuff. But the experience, it went through that experience, but it's still, because not of understanding this and having no guru or, no awareness yourself, we hadn't got to the self-inquiry part yet. So the experience of how you saw that, how, it creates this whole leaving the body experience, and, how it comes out. And especially if you've sat with someone when they're dying, then you'll know exactly. And you actually saw, anyway, afterwards, but... At the time, this one wasn't very awake, so it actually thought that because we woke up again, there's no such thing as time because the story is created. So really, this happens in no time, but it seems like it. So in time, in the story, this body was obviously died. It was, dead for a couple of days because it watched the funeral, it watched everything. The body had been taken away, it had, the ashes. So in the story, the body had died for a while, but literally no time had passed. Next minute, the body wakes up. This one woke up in bed again, and it was, all right. So I, at that time, thought the guides or the angels were warning me that I was going, sorry, I still shared all the stories that I was going to die, right? Because you still believed you were a separate thing or separate bowl or anything. That I was going to die, and they were showing me, I had a trial run. It was a bit painful, but it was over quick if you ask. So I had a trial run. So you thought, literally, I thought, oh my gosh, I've got a couple of months left anyway. I did enjoy it. I really made the most of those few months. But when you look back, this is the shock. So it was really showing you and guiding you, but you just, you didn't ask too much. It was, I know, funny, right? So I left the body, and looked down at the body and realized, wow, this thing is like not, if you've seen a dead body, it's dead. But then the realization came, hang on a second, I'm not dead. I explained the whole thing. It was amazing. And then nothingness, being aware of everything. You could hear and see and know everything. All the stories you were aware of are going on now. On this planet, on every planet, and in every single person or so-called being, right? You were aware, as the Bible says, of all at the same time. It was amazing. That was incredible. But what the attention was not paid to, as the Buddhas say, who's the one who's watching? If you can see it or perceive it, you are not it. But at that time, you had no clue. You'd just woken up. You were on this journey. So what I was doing was watching so-called what you thought was from heaven, because I've shared that video and all the stories plenty, so you can go listen to them. So excited about being in heaven. So looking down, as your perception was, and you could zoom in. So if I focused on, say, this planet, immediately, when you're out of a body, the minute you think of something, your awareness moves like lightning. You are there because there's no form, as they tell you. So when you're out of a form, the minute that thought or the consciousness is there, it immediately, boom, you're there. So the awareness was of, I could look it down, and I was aware of all these stories, lives. Then you still believe, because you're seeing the Maya, all these forms. All you're seeing is like what you would call ghosts. That's exactly what this is. They're energetic forms. There's no one in them. That's the truth. You are still believing you are, so you're seeing a reflection of a face and a different, whatever story. So this was funny because what you weren't aware of, that the actual seeing was not being seen from here, because then you'd be looking at here, right? So if you pay attention to the vision, you think you're seeing from your eyes. You're not seeing from the eyes, because only after the fact I was reflecting on this and realizing who was watching this so-called soul that was choosing, all these, and I want to get onto that life and drop into this body and get into that. So what you're doing is focusing on the stories and choosing one story to focus on, which you believe is reincarnate. But in second thought, what was watching, who was aware, was something was watching this so-called energy form, this soul, which you would think is a soul. When you leave the body, you've got it in it, but you actually, there's none. There's no perception of any, there's nothingness. You don't perceive any, there's just, you don't perceive a form whatsoever. So that was fascinating, because then you realize afterwards, yes, okay, you missed the fact. Who was watching? See, there's only Source. Source was watching all these little, stories going on. So Source, the real one, was watching the so-called character. Oh no, it's gonna, that's an interesting one. And you could actually focus in on these different stories on Earth and pick individual. Oh, that's, and that's it. I want to do that one. I want to get into that story. This is what you believe is reincarnation, and as they tell you when it falls away, there is no reincarnation. There's no extra one. There's no separation. There is no separation, no separate anything having a separate life. There's just life, just one energy moving. That's the truth of it, and that's the self that was watching this whole story. Anyway, then this one woke up and was planning for its death, and I thought in 3 months it was going to disappear. It will go. The body will, absolutely, because it's going to leave a story. It doesn't. There we are. It gets boring otherwise. So, there's much to share. I'll make short videos on TikTok about the body, how to start inquiring and asking and seeing that you're not the body. And my gosh, that's an eye-opener when you realize you've got nothing to do with this. This is just moving on its own, doing its own thing. Because you believe it is, you're not focused and you're not asking, it's not being shown to you. When you start seeing and it's shown to you that this body is not yours, then you've got to ask questions. If this body is not yours, who are you? Where are you? You are so believing everything the body is doing, you are doing it. You are not doing anything the body is doing. And that's very obvious. So, we'll go into many of those stories. But the timelines are forming. It's very clear to see, and they're going to go off, it's clear to see, because the frequency and vibrations are so different, okay? This body thing really wants to be shared anyway. You're welcome. So, watch and release the thoughts and things, because this is what your guidance is coming, and this is what's going to, it's just going to, you're guided, you're doing it anyway. There's no one doing it, as I say, the one is doing it. The one is just doing this, you'll see. You are guided to release and clear and change your stories and create. It's manifesting through the forms a different story. It's manifesting a golden age through the forms. It is choosing. So you're going to follow that guidance. Or if you decide, if you listen, this is the point of sharing, so you have the choice and realize, let me release all those things. Do I want a world? Because if you believe the world is this, and this is what I say, you have to change before it changes, as you see as Joe Dispenza is saying. This applies to the government, to everything else out there. If you keep expecting that it's rotten and bad and this and that, the government, or it's only people, they're individual people. You see, there's awareness of, yes, of what's going on. So you're able to change the story, watch the timelines. If you don't want to end up on a story where you believe there's other things controlling you, or you're trapped in some this and that planet and whatever else, then, drop that story and belief. Because as the infinite, you're going to create whatever story and belief and focus you get. Because when you put your energy, you are tuning, what you are doing is tuning your focus. This is why we're splitting. Your focus, as you think of those thoughts and more, you are tuning your frequency and vibration into those things. So if you're focusing on all the doom and gloom and, they've got a thing, you've got obviously an issue about control or victimization or something, whatever. Control, manipulation, victimization or something. That's something you've got to look at. You've got to release those things, you see. You can release those things. Watch. Because whatever you focus on and put your attention on, you are tuning your vibration and more and more and more. And the more of those you'll see, the more. So your story is going to get, as Bashar said, there's not going to be a chance to jump and change the train you're on. You see? And this is very evident, you're watching this. You're not going to be able to change to a positive all things because you have tuned your negative and your thoughts and your beliefs into such a bad story or negative story that the more you focus on it, the more those thoughts, this is just what happens. It doesn't matter what it you create. The more you focus on those thoughts and those things and those beliefs, the more come to you. Because the universe is neutral, as it says, literally. Source is neutral. It just watches. It doesn't matter what's created because it knows there's nothing actually going on. It's an illusion. So whatever the forms think and create and stories and say, it doesn't matter. So if you start thinking, the form starts thinking, this is going to come and get us and they're going to trap us and they're trying to do this to us, then it's going to send you more of those thoughts and more of those thoughts and you're going to find more people and more. Eventually, that's what I say, watch the box. You're getting in a box in a box. You've got all of these light workers of the golden age. It's wonderful. We're going to shift in this beautiful new earth and it's wonderful. This is that. There's harmony. We're all wonderful. There's no negative anything. No negative ETs. That's just, whatever else. None of that nonsense, you see. There's different timelines and stories going on here and they're all perfect. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't care. Because it's nothing. It knows it's nothing. And the minute you wake up, the time and space vanishes. It's only there. It's also a thought. It creates the Maya. It creates the story. So this is why everything is neutral. Alexa's there. That's there. All the thoughts are there only to create stories and mayas. You see, to create these different stories and timelines. That's all they're there. But when the self decides it's tired of it, it pulls its focus back to itself, that's the non-dual path. When you're drawn to non-duality, it pulls its focus back to itself and focuses only on God's source. This is the advice that they watch what you focus on, because what you are doing then is tuning the attention and the energy and frequency and vibration more and more to that. So if you same with communicating with guides and other beings and ETs, right? You don't know. You're being told, I'm this, you're guessing, or I'm this frequency of vibration, I'm on that dimension, I'm on this dimension. You are talking to another manifestation, and the only thing that being can tell you is what story, belief, and thing it is in, what's in there. You understand? So you are then you can move in the Maya all you want. It doesn't mind either. You want to go and move and go to the next dimension and this dimension and play that. This is a Maya. But understand, that's it. You are staying in the Maya. They're all illusions and all stories. So this is why I said, if you want to, when the drive is to, stop playing, you're tired of playing characters, you're tired of being misidentified, you stop focusing on it. You pull away from this I thought, me, myself, I. You drop this. You start doing the inquiry. Whose body? Whose thoughts? Who is this? Where does the thought come from? Who is that I? Where does that I thought come from? Nothing, nothing. And you'll keep finding nothing. Body, all these things. And you focus on source. So what you're doing is you're tuning your frequency and vibration to source. And this is why they say nothingness, right? There's nothingness. When there's no thought, and you are in, this one did it, like that Paul Hederman. It was in a very negative situation. I have to go off soon. Very negative situation and thoughts, right? So it had very bad stories running, and it had very bad experiences in this lifetime because of what happened. See, they just perpetuate these things. The trauma was stuck here, so it perpetuated more and more trauma and stuff. So it created a really bad story, one of the reasons why I died. But it had many, I think, actually, there's been anyway. So when it woke up, the story was so negative like him, and you're just like, I don't want to listen to Siri anymore. So it's not an easy thing, but it battled with that Siri. And eventually it stopped. It was not focusing, and it listened. It was, and I would, I did everything to quieten that. And I just ignored it. I refused to listen to it. I hummed, I meditated, whatever. And eventually, not I, but it disappeared. And all thoughts were stopped. And it was just, wow. So then the frequency and vibration goes, and you're only focusing, and as you say, you were in the now, absolutely. You were just like flow. You were so in the flow, and so in that you were in such a wow. So this is why the guidance is, they say, shh. So there's the advice, first of all. Now you can start that journey and lose the grip of it and the fear. When you realize you are not thinking, they are not your thoughts. You don't have to listen to that negative thought. Oh, you should have done that, blame, guilt, shame, whatever nonsense. Understand those are only patterns and programs that you've either taken in before, resonated with, believed as a child or whatever. So it's just a computer program that's stuck in the body. You can change it by changing that program, as Joe Dispenza says, those affirmations, there we are. You can clear up that. You can end Siri. But you've got to first know that they are not your thoughts. They don't belong to a mind. There's no mind in here. There's a brain. It's a receiver. It's a pure receptor. But the brain contains nothing. Nothing. It's a receiver of those frequencies and vibrations. It receives information, and it's because there's a Maya, there's nothing here, nothingness. So it is now coming through the filter. So when your filter is full of shit and clogged, addictive thoughts, bad thoughts, negative thoughts, or as I say, if the physical body is damaged, or say too many toxins, heavy metals in the body, good to detox the brain and the body of heavy metals and rubbish, the filter is going to be distorted. You see, so what the biological thing is, and the body is only filtering. So when you cleanse and purify, guess what? On this movement, aren't you guided to eat, to go organic, to drink pure water, to detox, to do all these things. This is, if you notice this movement, very much doing that. It's detoxing this, so the filter is going to be less distorted, is more clear, so it can receive a clearer message without, distortions and rubbish. The more rubbish and the more chemicals and the more poison and alcohol rubbish you put in the body, it's just, this thing is just a filter. That's all. It's pure filter. It's an absolute, and whatever this thing takes on to believe and define and create is what it creates. Everything, anything, illness and everything. So just understand, this is where you don't have to, don't fear the thoughts, because they are purely, it's purely Siri or purely Alexa. They're not yours. So if they are negative and they keep appearing, which you think are yours, or you're seeing them, right? It's like thoughts. They appear as pictures in your mind, right? Because it's an illusionary realm. There's a separate one here causing a reflection, right? So the thoughts are appearing in the mind, say, which is not this mind. This is just a filter. Because there's a belief, there's a separate one, it's causing a reflection which makes pictures. This is making the movie. It's creating a movie. You are seeing a movie projected. Everything's projected. You are seeing a movie, right? You can change that. There we are. Just understand, it's not in the mind. Don't look at the physical body. It's got nothing to do with it. It's not in the physical body. Everyone thinks this is creating this mind, this physical body. They're proven that it's not coming from there. The actions, the body's taking actions first, actually. You see, we will go into, I'll do another one. I'm about to have to stop this one and start another one, because about 4 minutes I'm going to have to stop the video. Otherwise, it will not go up to... Yes, but this is what we're explaining. We're explaining this. We're explaining what is creating this story and how the experience in this can be changed. And that's it. Simple. It is. This is what's shifting the whole thing. It's still going to carry on. Not saying it isn't. But the story is going to carry on. If you carry on as the one watching it, there we are. The story can carry on. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So watch, as I say, you can change those, all right? Because it will change the experience. There we are. There we are, anyway. Let's see what happens. Those that choose not to experience anymore, when you stop that, you lose all experience. You then go back to source, and there's no experiencer. There's just the emptiness. I mean, you'll even see that as different depending on where those belief systems. It's fascinating. If you go and watch let's say the ones that have fallen away, and you meditate with them, you'll see their energy is different. Their frequency vibration is different depending on how they got there, how much was cleaned from the vessel. If that vessel's been over a long time emptied, there you see, because it's different. Still, there's still the different character and perception is still there. It's in the form, you see. That doesn't disappear. They know, yes, there's no one there, but the behavior and those things, and even some of those, you'll see they also are perceiving different things. That's interesting. Some see nothing. They say there's absolutely nothing. Some are still perceiving, oh, it's different, I can't explain it. Yeah. It's interesting if you pay attention. It's very interesting. There we are. No one can understand because no one knows. See, because at that day, it doesn't know. It's just happening. No one knows. Nobody knows. There's no knowing. You don't need to, because there's nothing. You know what I mean? It realizes there's nothing. So in this, you can see the infinite stories and infinite possibilities. And so they say it's infinite, incredible. When you awaken, you realize there's infinite stories out there, because there's no time. There are millions of planets and lives and different beings and forms, and blah, 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 because it's imagining. It can imagine anything. You've been doing this dreaming for who knows. There's no time. But if you ask in the story, you'll be told, oh, you were dreaming for hundreds of thousands of years, or you've been dreaming for 1,000,000 years. So you've been playing in the Maya for since you last woke up, a very long time. So you've identified with so many things for so-called. But when that falls away, nothing, there was never any time, nothing happened. You see, there's any time, as they say, in the illusion. Anyway. But this is to, you see the guidance there is to change the story. And nobody's doing it. But it is coming through. You'll see. All right, you're all changing it. I'm going to shift quickly. Because I need to take this off. Otherwise I can't upload it to, this is just the way they are. Sorry, it's a nuisance actually. You've got to watch now. You now can't upload them to YouTube. I'm still trying to do the last one for people about this whole journey. All the different phases you can go through when you wake up. And, you know, and knowing how to navigate them so you don't get stuck and caught and have all kinds of other unpleasant experiences. Yes, it is playing in the mind completely. Because literally there is nothing. You ask it. And it's really irrelevant. It doesn't mind the stories. It doesn't mind what. It just goes on, you know. So there we are. You're free to choose. All those thoughts are there. That whole thing is, but understand, and you don't feel so worried. What's me? What's wrong with me? It's my thoughts. None of them are your thoughts. All right. Just, you can be aware of them and you realize, oh no, those aren't nice. So let's change those. All right. So pay attention to what timeline you're focusing on, because there are many different stories forming out there now. And it's very obvious if they are so different in frequency and vibration, absolutely they will become, you won't be seeing them, because that's all it is, perceiving anymore. Because it's only a projection. So what you want to call different timelines splitting, different earths, yes, of course they will. That makes obviously sense. Everything's frequency and vibration. So you're going to shift up into a different frequency and vibration to those that think they're going to annihilate themselves or the planet, or want to go to war with themselves, or who knows. That's it. That's the program and rubbish running here. You see. That's it. Stories. That's the program running. It's just, sorry, if you don't realize it's a program, you're not going to clean it. You can change the program. There we are. And they're not your thoughts. So when you stop worrying and identifying with them, that gives you the freedom then to start perceiving more of actual reality. Okay, there we are. I'll go into it. I've got very much got to talk about this body, so I think I'm going to end the live now and start another one about this whole body, to start looking and asking, and then you'll realize, so you can start being aware, and then you're not going to identify with this character and what's happening here and this body as much. That will relieve a lot of fear too. All right, I'll start one now.